Sharing that. Have before you. Okay, you just hit it, didn't you?
You were so right. I'm sitting here going,
And take two.
right. Hello,
Okay.
everybody. We
So
are.
everybody
Hello,
that's
hello.
laughing, we're laughing because we've been live for 5 minutes. I don't know where y'all been. We've been live for 5 minutes.
Okay.
We had deep conversation. Our director, I
No,
know
we
it
didn't
says
invite you
that
live.
we've been live for 34 seconds, but we've actually been live for 5 minutes and 34 seconds. All right, Miss Smart, our host, go ahead and get
Okay.
started again.
Okay. So listen, that was my fault all the way. Okay. Um, I actually thought that we were live, and I didn't hit the go live button. That was my fault. So let me start again. Welcome, welcome, welcome to another edition of Singles Unplugged Live Talk Tuesday night, right here on Facebook and YouTube. I am your host, Sharon at Smart, and I am so excited about our panel for tonight. I know that Sister Almina is having some issues, and we may have to take her off the stage because she's frozen again. But we're going to work with her to try to get her on, because I need y'all to hear about 50 days, 50 guys, and 50 dates. Okay, so y'all, when we're going to let her work that out. But I am excited because tonight I have my spiritual father, Superintendent Pastor Will Nichols from Victorious Praise Fellowship Church of God in Christ with us tonight. I have my cousin, co-host and master barber, Eric Hines tonight. My little sister, LaShonda M. Lofton. I am super excited about tonight's live talk. We're not going to listen. I already wasted 5 minutes thinking I was talking to y'all, and I wasn't talking to nobody because I had not hit the go live button. But we are live now, okay? And so we're going to go ahead and get started. And before we do, I'm going to ask Dad to just pray us in, right? Because one thing about it, two things for sure. While this is a singles live talk, and we're going to talk about everything dating, we still want to always invite God in everything we do. Amen.
Absolutely.
Heavenly Father, in the name of Jesus, Lord, we thank you and we praise you, Lord, for this opportunity to share, Lord, for us four coming together, Lord, and for everybody. God, we know that all things work together for good, and that there is a word that's going to be shared that is going to bless somebody, bless some single, bless some person, Lord, that we're going to share a word that's going to come directly from you and be a blessing to each of our listeners. In Jesus' name we pray. Thank God.
Thank God. Amen. 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 All right, all right. Well, okay, let's go. Not sure what happened to Eric. Let's bring him back. There you go. All right. So we're going to go ahead and get opened up now. First of all, let me kind of explain what all of this is going on, because somebody say, Pastor Smart, what you doing now? All right. For those of you that don't know, we got Sister Charlotte. Hi, Sister Charlotte, Sister Rita Brooks. God bless y'all. Hi, y'all. Welcome tonight. We are gearing up for our relationship boot camp retreat, November of 2026. But prior to the retreat in November of 2026, we are having these pop-ups, right, throughout the city here in the Raleigh-Durham area, actually in Cary. That's where it's going to be hosted at the Marriott in Cary. And so we're going to be doing singles unplugged, couples unplugged, and then we're going to bring them all together, singles and couples coming together. And we're going to have these pop-ups throughout the time as we're building up to the retreat, so you all can get excited about what's to come. So on tonight, we're going to talk about all things dating, but we got some real issues. Like I want to share with you guys that I finally joined the dating site on Facebook, and 4 hours ago, and I can't tell y'all how my phone, I had to mute it because it's ding, 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 ding. So we're going to talk about online dating sites, experiences, and that type of thing. And Pastor Will, because he is a relationship expert. I know, yes, he is a relationship expert and has books that he's written on it, and do relationship bootcamp retreats. Yeah, look, he's counting the books. He's gonna definitely be navigating and guiding us tonight throughout the conversation. So I'm not going to belittle or prolong. Dad, go ahead. We're gonna open up. We do have some questions So we're gonna make sure we leave. I got questions that came in, so we do have some questions, and so we're gonna be asking those throughout our engagement on tonight. Okay.
Sounds great.
All right. Well, you can go ahead and however you feel led to lead us. Well, you know what I want to do? I want to give each person. So we're gonna let you do last because you're gonna go ahead and open us up. Eric Scissorhands, go ahead and introduce yourself to the people and tell them a little bit about yourself. He is an eligible single young man.
Hello, my name is Eric. Eric Hines, known as Eric Scissorhands. I'm a master barber and stylist. I live in the Charlotte area. Um, Open to dating, but at the same time, I'm open to dating a certain particular kind of person, and that often presents a little bit of a challenge here and there. But again, I don't mind a good challenge. A challenge is a good thing because we don't just date to find somebody. We date to find a wife because as a man, we want to find that good thing. So in order to find that good thing, you have to be searching actively, and you have to know what that looks like. So that's where I'm at, and that's what I'm doing, and I'm celebrating this opportunity to be with y'all right now.
That's my cousin. All right, all right, all right. And I love him to life. I'm telling you, everything. He the real deal. He his daddy's son. Let me just say that he is daddy's son, and his daddy was married to my auntie over 50 plus years. Yes, yes.
56.
One wife, one husband, 4 children, and all the grandkids. All right. And I thank God for them and the legacy that they left behind in their sons. And next we have my little sister, author LaShonda Monique Lofton. LaShonda, introduce yourself to the people.
Oh, good evening, everyone. I am LaShonda Monique Lofton, the beauty brand. I'm from Durham, North Carolina. I'm open to dating as well, enjoying the platform, just enjoying the whole experience in totality. I'm also a licensed hairstylist, and I'm a licensed phlebotomist.
Yes, yes, yes. So it looks
And
professional.
that's it, and that's all.
And that's it, and that's all. All right, Almina, are you with us? Because I see her, and every now and then I see her moving. All right, we still having difficulties with her. All right, Dad, we're gonna go ahead and let you take it away.
All right. Well, good evening, everyone. I guess since everybody is introducing themselves, I'm Pastor Will Nichols of Victorious Praise Fellowship Church of God in Christ. Now, when I was on the dating sites, I'm not right now. I introduced myself as just Will Nichols, CEO of 2 nonprofits. One of my spiritual daughters told me that I shouldn't say that because that sounds like I'm flexing. But I didn't want to say pastor either because people might be intimidated. So if I decide to go back on the dating sites, I'll have to figure that out. But I like walking in the park, walking on the beach. I'm just kidding.
They want you to put all that in the profile. They want you to put all that in the profile.
My passion right now is the Lord. We gonna talk. I was on a cruise a couple of weeks ago, and I was coordinating a singles discussion, and I said there are 3 reasons why we find ourselves single. One can be by choice. You just, some people just, I'm good like I am. I enjoy my space. I enjoy not having to worry about other people in my space, and that's their choice. Sometimes it's a choice from birth. I just met a person and said they have zero desire to date and get married. So that's a single by choice. Then there's single by calling. Paul spoke of this, and some of y'all use the term the gift of singleness. I don't know if I want to call that a gift, but God bless y'all who do have that gift. But it's your calling, and some people say, well, maybe that's what God has called me to do. No, let me be real clear. If it's a gift, you would know it. If you desire the opposite sex, then you do not have the gift of singleness. You just happen to be in the 3rd category, which is circumstances. You may want to be married. You may have been married, as I was, but you find yourself in the circumstance where you're not married and you still have to deal with that. And so if you desire to be married, then this third category is where dating comes in. And at some point, I may talk about the 5 books that I wrote, but I think they're appropriate for singles, because I always tell people the wrong time to learn how to fly a plane was when you're already up in the air.
Yeah, come on.
You better learn some stuff before you get up in that plane. Like,
Exactly.
well, how you don't even know how to land yet. I very much encourage singles who want to be married to come to my relationship boot camps, because we don't just teach couples how to stay married. We teach singles how to not only be married once they get married, but then how to choose a person who has those same characteristics of what it takes to be married, which is 5 different types of connections.
Wow. So with that being said, and again, Dad is definitely in my book, I mean, one of the relationship experts that I definitely listened to and gleaned from. He wrote a book called No More Drama Relationships. And that was the first of the collection. And I love the No More Drama Relationship book because it did not just deal with relationships between men and women. It dealt with territorial spirits, man. Come on. Because territorial spirits actually plague our relationships. And so he actually, illuminated that, talked about that, and let us know that it's not just relationships between a husband and a wife or a man and a woman. It's you and your boss, you and your children, you and your siblings, it's your co-workers. I mean, relationships are everywhere. And because relationships are everywhere, we're in relation. Our neighbors, that's a relationship. And some of us got neighbors from where. And some of us, we got neighbors that we love and we invite them over to the barbecue. But we have to learn how to embrace relationships, deal with relationships, handle relationships on all levels. But as singles, and somebody who has been single as long as me, Dad, one of the things that I have been struggling with is, 1, knowing how to date, and 2, fear of compromising my peace. Because I have a peace that some of my friends who are in relationships, they don't have, because they got issues. And I don't necessarily know that that's where I want to go. So we're going to talk tonight from start to finish and everything in between about dating. But let me just share some of these questions that I got, because they may even help guide us into the dialogue on tonight as well. One of the questions that I got was, what is the funniest or most unexpected thing that has happened to you on a date? Anybody want to go? Anybody want to? Because I can't answer that, because I can't even tell you the last time I've been on a date, unless you count me and Noah.
Yeah, well, I want to talk on that. One of the funniest things that ever happened to me on a date is me realizing real quickly that the person that I'm on a date with don't really want to date, because they put up all of these walls. They'll talk about what they're not going to do, what they can't do, what they don't do, and this, that, and the other, what kind of person they're looking for, and it's that, and then it becomes like an interview process type thing. But I'm a finished and complete product. So it's like when I present myself, that's what I am. So we can not try to get 6 years of dating crammed into a 30 to 45-minute session where we just eating some food and having some drinks. It's like what we need to do is just kind of just stay in the moment. So when I heard the it was a list. The list came out. It was just like reading off things on the list. This is this. Do you like doing this? Do you like doing that? And I was like, oh man. So I honestly didn't sign up for the interview. I mean, I stayed for the date, but I'm a very open person. So when I saw question number 4, I was like, hey. need to call my lawyer because this feels like I might need counsel,
Wow.
because I don't know. Am I under arrest? So I started making jokes because that's who I am. If you know who I am, that's who I am. So I joked a little bit, and it kind of softened up the whole environment a little bit. The date went a little bit better, but at the same time, I knew at that point that this is somebody who has some unresolved issues, and they're like very cautious on the small little things. And I'm saying these are things that are going to unravel as we talk. It's nothing that you have to be so formal with because I just don't like corporate dates. So this was a very corporate date where I was like trying to audition for a job, but fact is, I'm not auditioning for a job. I'm not putting in an
Wow.
application. I'm trying to get to know you as you get to know me, and then we'll make that decision later. You know, um, but that was one of the funniest situations. I actually felt like I was on an interview, and I'm a master barber stylist. I don't interview. I let you know that I want a job at your place, and you give me the job. That's how that works.
Wow.
Right.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
So,
yeah. So
so,
that was
so listen.
hilarious. That was
Check
hilarious.
this out. Jesse, Mr. Jesse F. Mayo in the comments, he says, there is no peace responding to me. There is no peace in relationships. There is only challenge. Managing change. I guess it's really challenge and change. Managing change and challenge is a skill. Amplifying soft skills is the key. Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. I want if is he
Well,
saying
I'll jump in.
okay?
And so a couple of situations. I think I shared this the last time. Now, I did not even attempt to date until 3 years after my marriage ended. And I don't want to say ended. We certainly went to counseling and tried and even dated again. But after it was evident that we weren't going to come back together, I then started dating, and two situations happened. I don't know if these are funny or cringe-worthy. The first one was when I went on the dating sites and I'm swiping left and right. I had a couple of people from my church pop up on my whatever, and y'all should have saw how fast I was switching that thing. uh,
Ah,
and I say it's sometimes I think it's cringy because that means that they saw me and the and so I don't like that. So that's probably why I won't go back and do dating sites, even though I really do believe in them. But because I'm a public figure and because I'm a pastor, I don't like that. I'd rather be anonymous. That's why I don't use Pastor Will. I use Will Nichols or whatever, CEO or whatever, as opposed to pastor. So that was one. The other one was I did go out on a date with one person, and after I got on the date, they told me that they used to go to my bishop's church. And so they knew me as Pastor Will, Superintendent Will, and all of that. I didn't know them. And so that was kind of a little cringy as well. So that's kind of my story. Nothing else really funny. I've had some great dates though, and a couple of nice people that I met. But that's my challenge with the dating sites. I like dating, but the dating sites is kind of when you're out there. I'm not saying that I'm all that, but a lot of people do know me
right.
because of what I do and what I've done, book writer, author, and pastor, superintendent, administrative assistant. Even in the national, people still know me all over the country. So there's that part for me.
Well, listen, LaShonda, I'm gonna let you go. But Almina, it looks like we got her back. Author Almina Mays is back with us, and I want her to introduce herself because her book is really like. I want her to introduce herself. I want her to tell us the title of her book, and then we're gonna come back to her. But I want her to be able to introduce herself now that we got her back.
Hey everybody, I'm Almina Mays, and I wrote the book, The Chronicles of Dating Over 50, 50 Dates in 50 Days. And Yeah, so I'm just happy I finally got on with you guys.
Yeah, it was a challenge, but it's probably because you got something to say. 50 dates, 50 guys, 50 days, man. Listen, I had one date and you done had 50 in 50 days. This is like this is phenomenal. I cannot wait to
I
get into that
I
book.
can't imagine.
Yeah, see, can't imagine.
That's crazy.
Yeah, we gonna hear all about it. She wrote a book on it. She chronicled it.
Okay.
So we're gonna hear all about that in a moment. LaShonda Lofton, what's some of the funniest things that's happened since you have embraced this whole online dating thing?
I only had one, honestly, and on this particular date, the guy ended up calling his mom and was trying to verify and solidify whatever needed to be validated or whatever. So so yeah, that was like, it was weird and funny all at the same time, because I'm like, wait, you well over 30 and you're calling your mom asking her about me, about whatever he wanted her to know or ask or whatever. So that was weird.
Wow.
Oh yeah.
On the first right. On the first date. On the first date. So that was one of the questions, and I thought that was good. It says, if you had to describe your dating style in one word, what would it be? Mine would be scared.
Mine would be real. Yeah,
Mm.
that's the only. Yeah, just real.
Almina?
Probably skeptical.
Okay. Dad?
I'm old school. I'm gonna do the whole open doors. I'm paying for everything. I'm buying flowers. I know you said one word. I'll go
That's
with
all
I'll go with old school.
He old school. Okay, I love that. Old
Yeah.
school. Courting. Come on. How about you, LaShonda?
I missed the question. That's why I was like, what was the question? It froze up on my
If
end.
you had to describe your dating style in one word, what would it be? I think
I'm
her
open. I'm just gonna say
she said open.
You said open.
Okay, open. All right, that's good. Listen, I think these are good icebreakers to kind of know, what it is. Cause for me, my first date, I wanted to be at Starbucks. I want a coffee date
I did that.
in the daytime, like morning. I don't want a nighttime date. I want a coffee date. And I don't necessarily want to be attracted to it either.
You don't want to be attracted to him?
No.
I want to
That's
talk
not how
about that.
dating goes.
I don't have to talk about it now, but I want to talk about attraction and whether or not that's important or not. But
Okay.
and
All
what
right, Almina,
that?
how about you? What is some of the funniest things that has happened to you, and what's your ideal first date?
Okay. First question. The funniest thing. So one of the guys that I went out with that's in my book, it was an online guy. I met him online. And we met at a restaurant and he came in and he looked absolutely nothing like the picture that he had. In fact, he was more like Martin Lawrence's Jerome.
Mm.
Wow.
Yeah. And so then he came in and he had the audacity to be incredibly arrogant. And then he told me that he had like I can't remember, it was 3 or 4 ex-wives, and they all still lived with him
ooh,
because, they had kids.
Oh.
And he was like, I just want you to see that I can provide for you because I got all this and I'm handling all this.
He
And
doing
you
all
can,
that.
just add to the thing and
Yeah,
we all take care of each other and just be a
I'm
family
stressed out now.
together. And I'm sitting here like, sir, no, sir. And then he said, I just want to know, is that your hair? Can I touch it? And I was like, no. He said, see, that's the problem with y'all. Y'all not open. And he just went on this rant as to why I was wrong for not wanting to live with him and his several ex-wives and their children, and he couldn't run his hands through my hair in the restaurant.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
So I would say
crazy.
that was one of the funniest ones. And my ideal date, that one's hard because I think that that's the problem that some of us have with dating, as we have these expectations of what this date should be, you know, and not understanding that everybody is an individual and we're going to click in different ways. So I might go out with someone on a coffee date and we click because, you know, we both like coffee or we both from the same place or whatever. And we can have these great conversations that are completely platonic. And that's still a good date. Or I can meet someone and I'm like, dang, he's sexy. And there's this whole different kind of aura, and that's a good date. Or I can meet someone that I think is incredibly attractive, but he is boring as a bag of rocks, and that's not a good date. So
Right.
it's hard to say what would be the ideal date because you don't know how you're going to feel when you get in the presence of that person.
Right. So would you go? Well, I guess you have done it because you went out 50. You ain't getting to know nobody because you went out. But like, do you suggest that you get to like how soon before? Sean, you could jump into like how soon before you talk to the person that you should go on a date with them?
I think dating is just that. It's you go. I don't think that there's like a set period of time before you actually go have a face-to-face conversation with someone. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, for me, I get more from a person's body language and the way that I feel around that person than I do from having these long, extensive phone calls and emailing back and forth. Because a lot of times that junk can be faked, but a person can't fake their spirit. It is
That's
what it is. You
that's
know,
so
you cannot fake your spirit.
right.
So, you know, I'm a very like I'm a very person that's in tune with myself, and so I can tell how somebody makes me feel pretty much automatically. You know, if you're in my presence, I can be like, okay, this one doesn't sit right in my spirit. My grandmother said that he just don't sit right in my spirit. And I
Mm-hmm.
find that is how I relate with a lot of people I meet, you know? And so I think that, you know, if you talk to someone a couple times and you're like, okay, you know what? Let's go ahead and meet. I think that's the best way to do it
Right.
because why waste all this time
Jump in it.
going
Right.
back and forth when
Got you.
then you meet that person, you know, that's not the right person for you. That's not the right, you don't feel anything. You don't even want to be friends.
No connection. Got you.
Right.
Got you. So, Dad, in the relationship, no more drama. The book, you teach us about these territorial spirits, and so I want you to talk a little bit about that because I think too that we have to know when we go into relationships, no matter what kind of relationship you have, that there is warfare in the heavenlies that manifests right here in the earth. And so you actually address some of those things in the book.
You know, and thank you for bringing that up. When God started drawing me towards relationships and marriages, and He did it in 5 different ways, based upon 5 different stages that my marriage of 34 years was going through. And the very first thing that God told me was to look at the relationship from a spiritual perspective. And what He led me to was Ephesians, the 6th chapter, which says, "We wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against these spirits." Okay,
Mhm.
so I'm looking at flesh and blood, but the challenge is about the spiritual issues that are going on between this people or this couple or your coworkers or your family members. And He gave us 4 different types of spirits: principalities, which are territorial spirits;
Right.
powers, which are the foot soldiers of personal attack demons; the rulers of the darkness of this world, which are spirits of temptations and which cause people to be led astray and cheat and all those types of things. And then spiritual wickedness in high places, which are spirits associated with religion and church and that type of thing. And what I've learned in that study is that a lot of times we are attacking the person without realizing what spiritual forces are causing the attacks in the first place. For example, territorial spirits are something that all of us have to deal with when we enter into a new relationship. Because anytime you enter into a new relationship, there were people that were in that relationship before you ever got there. It could be past relationships that they were in. It could be current relationships. It could be family members. It could be children. And so when you show up as new, they look at you as invading their territory. And so whereas a mama's boy or a daddy's girl can have a great relationship with their parents, when that boy or girl decides that they want to have another relationship, those parents can actually become a challenge or a problem because they're still looking at it as that's my boy, that's my territory. Sometimes children can do the same thing. Sometimes past old relationships. And so now you have to go into a relationship and understand, how do I deal with these territorial spirits? How do I and the other person deal with territorial spirits? So in the book, each type of spirit, I say, here's how the Bible tells us to attack these spirits and not the person. A lot of people fall out with in-laws and they fall out with mom-in-laws and sister-in-laws, and we can't get along. And so they're taking it out on the person as opposed to understanding how to go into spiritual warfare against territorial spirits, against spirits of temptations, against spiritual wickedness spirits. And so the book really addresses that most of the fights that we are in, that we're attacking each other, we should be going into spiritual warfare. And there's a specific way that couples should go into warfare, and it's called partnering and meeting each other's needs. I can't fight your battle, you can't fight my battle, but I can strengthen you for your battle, and you can strengthen me for mine. It's called meeting each other's needs. So, for example, if I'm struggling with the spirit of temptation, with this girl or whatever, and I've had that challenge in my past, instead of arguing and fighting with me, I need to understand that my mate has a need that I need to fulfill, whether it's like a postman, rain, sleet, snow. Y'all still ain't working with me, but I'm coming for you. I found out something, that it's hard to eat snacks in the break room when I filled you up before you left the house with breakfast. Okay, y'all still ain't working with me. It's hard. See, you fighting the man, talking about who you talking to. Well, if you put it on him enough, he won't be talking to nobody because you will have worn him out. And so if that's a need of his, meet that need, as opposed to fighting him, fight the spirit.
Somebody say,
hold on, baby, where you going? You ain't got your milk yet. Come back in here. You ain't been fed yet. Where you going? So that's just a little something that I talk about real. In the book.
But that's real. Yeah. And somebody say, but what if you're not in a partnership?
Yeah.
Well, but I thought the question was about territorial spirits in a relationship.
Right, it is. So, but they say when in the partnership, and I'm not really sure it's Damona McWin, and the question was what if you're not in a partnership? If but you're dealing with not in a covenant. But you're dealing with the territorial spirit. So the book addresses how partners and couples in relationships deal with territorial spirits. When you're single, that's a different approach. One of the things the Bible teaches us is to stand our ground. You can't let people push you out of the territory that God said was yours. God said to Joshua, everywhere that the sole of your feet shall touch shall be yours. Now, he didn't tell him ahead of time that there was going to be some giants and some walls and a whole bunch of armies there, but he still said it was yours. And so what the enemy does with giants and walled up cities is he creates fear. And a lot of times people, because they don't want to deal with the drama or deal with the territorial spirits, they will leave or quit
or walk away when God didn't already said it was yours. No, you stay there and fight because God said it was yours. You don't operate in the spirit of fear, but you operate in power and love and a sound mind. And it's a whole lot to it, but yeah, I understand the question. But I was talking to it from when we have a partner, how we fight together.
Well, you said something that was powerful though, and when you were talking about all the territorial spirits and things like that. I'm currently reading Pastor Jensen Franklin. I don't know if y'all can really see it because it's going out because I have the green screen up. But Pastor Jensen Franklin wrote a book called "Love Like You've Never Been Hurt." Love like you've never been hurt, and it's hope, healing, and the power of an open heart. And again, it's taken me decades literally to get to that place because I was so hurt, so broken, so wounded, after my marriage, which is really, has a lot to do with why I'm still single after 24 years of being divorced. But as I'm reading the book, and then when you just talk about it, it's like, I definitely, and I don't know who I'm talking to or who this is for, but if you are single and you have male or female and you have been hurt or wounded in your past by somebody who you love, you gave your heart to, you were all in and they had one foot in, maybe one foot out, and you were all in, you were hurt and wounded by that. Allow God the process of time to heal you, because what you don't want to do is take a unhealed version of yourself into a new space, a space where somebody really wants to love you, somebody can love you, but because of your past and what has happened in your past, you become your own self-worst enemy, right, in the relationship. And that's where I found myself, even just the thought about it, like, me feel like I gotta protect my heart, protect myself, protect me, and literally, you're gonna have to take that leap of faith, I guess, or that trust, because life happens.
Yeah, that's real. That is definitely real.
I know you can speak to that, Eric.
Yeah, because the thing is, an unhealed version of yourself is going to create more problems than anything. The fact is, and you have to identify unhealed people too, because that's a big thing too. Because we talk about red flags and green flags. A big red flag is seeing that a person has a lot of things they still have to deal with in the previous relationship that they haven't dealt with. And only through questions and really paying attention can you see that. So I've personally been in situations to where I see, okay, this person is not healed, but then we start thinking that we the man, so
we can
we
heal
so
them.
strong, we can heal them. We got all of this extra power. We all prayed up and powered up. Our money right, our time right. Our hearts in the right place. We can heal them, but the thing is, the healing has to come from the inside. It has to come from God. It has to come from that person really wanting to be healed. Because a lot of times people are in places and spaces where the unhealed version of them gets the attention that they want. So they fall in love with the intention and they're like, yeah, I am who I am. This is who I am. They're going to have to accept me broken, because if you can't, I heard this crap so many times. If you can't take me at my worst version, you don't deserve me at my best. That's not real. That's one of the biggest lies from the pits of hell you can tell. The thing is, you have to heal yourself and become your best version of yourself in order to qualify to date somebody else, because you're not qualified if you're still sitting in the mud to deal with somebody who's clean. So the thing is, you're going to dirty them up. Or in some people, I've heard them say, out if you're cut and bleeding and bruising, you don't want to bleed on somebody who's not cut and bleeding bruising. So because you're tainting their experience, and it's never going to work. So yeah, you definitely got to work on self, get yourself to a certain point to where you can heal. Anybody who know about Marvel and stuff like that, they've heard of a guy named Wolverine. You cut him, he instantly starts to heal. You got to be like that. You can't let something be on you forever. As soon as you get cut, you need to work on the healing process. God has designed our body in a way to as soon as there's injury, we immediately start to heal. You know,
Mm.
that's why it's so imperative. If something's broken on you, you got to first get that. You got to get that fixed. You got to get a cast on it, and you got to let it sit still, because now the healing process is already taking place. So if you don't get it set, it's going to heal wrong. So you got to
Mm.
set yourself right. So when you set yourself right, you'll heal properly, and you'll no longer be broken. Oftentimes, a broken bone can heal back stronger than it was before. So it's important for us to see that, hey, you're broken, or this person is broken, and see that red flag, but also be able to see the green flag when you see that, oh, this person is not broken. This person has had time to put themselves back together. I can actually take it to the next level. It's never going to work. You can't heal them. They got to do the healing.
Well, they're in the chat, they're in the comments agreeing with you. And definitely you're speaking the language. Dad, you have the and I'm really moving this because I really want to hear.
Before you go there, can I talk about
Go
the
ahead.
healing for a minute?
Yes, absolutely.
So I love what Eric said. It fits right in. I was counseling a couple. The husband had cheated on the wife, and they were coming for some counseling. They wanted to heal the marriage, and so she's telling me the story of how he cheated. I mean, she's just boo-hooing and crying and boo-hooing and crying, and the Holy Spirit say, "Ask her, when did it happen?" That's an interesting question. Uh,
Wow.
he said, "Ask her, when did it happen?" I said, "When did it happen?" And she said, 12 years ago.
Wow.
I
Wow.
said, "Has he cheated since?" And she said, "No." I asked him. He's sitting in the pastor's office in Jesus Church. So I'm thinking he gonna tell the truth. "Have you cheated since?" He said, "No." They both agreed that this incident had happened 12 years ago, but she was crying like it had happened last night. And
Wow.
it tells me that although we need time, it's a misnomer to think that time heals all wounds. Healing heals all wounds. And if you
Yes.
don't go through the process of healing, I don't care how much time you go through, you won't heal. You will pick at that scab and re-injure it. As a matter of fact, if you don't go through the healing process and clean it out, and like Eric said, set it or do this, it could actually get worse. I mean, it was just a pinky toe. Now you done got gangrene up to your knee. They got to cut your whole leg off in order for you to
Wow.
heal. And so I said, there's a process. When I was going through my healing, God showed me exactly how to heal. And I went through 5 things. First, I studied 5 stages of grief because I realized that a
Yes.
broken relationship is just like a death. You lost
Yes.
that thing, and you go through grief, you go through anger, you go through depression, you go through bargaining until you get to acceptance.
Acceptance.
And I had to go through all of that. And ultimately, God showed me. That's when I started. Some of you don't know that, but that's actually when I started my daily prayers at 6 a.m. It started just with me. Now it's like 150 to 200 people that join me at 6 o'clock in the morning in prayer. But it started with learning that these stages that I had to go through. And when I bring, and now I counsel people and show them how to heal. And I said, you got to heal in 5 different areas: physically, emotionally, spiritually, response wise, and fun wise. And you have to have a specific plan. When you go to see a doctor, he wants to know what's wrong so that he can prescribe what you need to do to get right. And in relationships, and when you're hurt, you are in a cycle of pain, and you got to learn how to break out of that and get into a cycle of healing so that you can get stronger and stronger and stronger. So that's something that I think is vitally important. Nobody else can heal you. You got to go through that process yourself. And it ain't the other person's problem. They may have caused your hurt, but you are the one that's hurt. And whatever you do to them ain't gonna fix you. No matter how much you hold that against them, you still will not be healed.
Absolutely.
Aaron, can I jump in here real quick?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so here's the thing. Don't think that, okay, so everybody is not destined to be in a relationship. And just because you're not does not mean you're not healed. Because so some people for instance, myself, I'm decidedly single. It's a choice to be. It's not because I'm hurt. It's not because I'm broken. And a lot of times when I meet someone and I express the fact that, I'm not looking to get into a relationship right now, then it comes out, oh, well, how long have you been divorced? I've been divorced for 22 years. I've done the healing. I've done the self evaluation. I've done the therapy. I've done all of those things. And I've come to know myself, rather intimately, and I know what things that I want and I desire for my life. And a lot of times people will put on you that you need to be in a relationship. I get that all the time. Oh, Mina, you're just so great. You're supposed to be somebody's wife. You're supposed to be somebody's girl. Hey, it's not too late. I know you're 59, but it's not too late. You can find someone. And when I say that I am not looking, then there's this pressure, this thing that why not? You should, you're going to die alone. Everybody dies alone. Unless you're in some kind of major accident, you're going to do that by yourself. I'm not dragging somebody. I'm dying. Let me get you and drag you with me. We go to grave together. No, we're going to have a duplex coffin. No, we're not. You dies alone. So I want us to let people know that you can embrace being whole and single.
Yes.
There's nothing wrong with that. Now, if you desire a relationship, yes, then seek that. But if you know that you are whole and single, there is absolutely nothing wrong with having friendships, with having people that you spend time with having somebody you go to catch a movie with or get dinner with that's not in this, relationship, long-term, deep thing. You can be happy and single.
Yeah, I agree.
Just evaluate what it is you really want. Because here's the thing. A lot of people want to be single because they feel like they're supposed to be in a relationship. They go start dating people who want to be in a relationship. And then not only have you jacked yourself up, you jacked that person up and you've wasted their time.
Yeah.
When I was really dating, one thing I would tell guys, and my son had to tell me to stop saying this. It's like, dude, I'm not what you want. We can be friends, we can hang out, but I'm not what you want. If you're looking for a girlfriend, you're looking for, I'm not what you want. My son said, stop saying that. He said, because that becomes a challenge. He said, so then now the whole thing is, oh, well, let me go ahead and conquer her to let her know that, she's going to want me. And I was like, hey, look, I break hearts and snatch souls. I'm just telling you, I'm not what you want. And so, I had to change the way that I approach this. I had to change the way that I approach dating. And, understand, okay, I can only date gentlemen who are not looking to get into a marriage because I don't want to be married. I can only date gentlemen that are looking for, platonic relationship because boo, we ain't boning. So, I had to be, you have to be very upfront about with yourself first, about what it is you truly want. Because people will paint this picture of what a relationship is supposed to be and what you're supposed to have, and you buy into that, and then you get into stuff you don't want to be in, and it messes up everything for everybody. And then you find yourself starting over with the brokenness and leaving somebody else also broken.
Right.
Because you got into something you didn't have no business getting to in the first place.
Because it's a trail. You said something there, though. I have this saying, no samples, no test drive, no trial runs, right? This ain't a restaurant and then I ain't a car lot. And I really believe that. But listen, before I actually put my little profile up today on the singles, the Facebook dating thing, I was like, you could browse without exposing yourself looking. And so I'm looking, and do you know that I actually literally came across profiles and the men were saying stuff like, if you ain't, looking to give it up, just swipe on by. I'm talking about they like really just, that's in the profile. Like, who does that?
But here's the thing. But they're honest about it. And I would
Yeah.
Right.
rather all day long have this joker say, look, this is what I'm about. This is what I'm looking for. Than him being, oh yes, well, thank you and bless the Lord and praise God, and we're going to have this celibate relationship, and we're going to abstain, and I don't want. Hey, I'm looking for a wife, and he is not. He is looking for a jump off. So I would prefer that he tell me from the beginning that's what he's looking for, because then I can say, hey, dude, we're not compatible.
Absolutely. Yes. The sooner you say it, the better. Because the thing is, a
Right.
lot of times people put false information out there thinking that they can be the one that can change your mind.
Yep,
And when a young lady tells you that I am open to dating, I am open to going out and having a good time, I am not open to sex, I am not open to being your wife, then that's the thing. If those are two things that you want as a man, then you need to be upfront with her and say, well, I do want a wife, and I do straight up, I want sex. So the thing is this: if you're not having those kind of open adult conversations, because this is just two
exactly.
adults talking. We not 15, 16, 18, 20 years old. We're out here, and ain't nobody out here virgins. So the thing is this: when you say, hey, look, I am not doing that, they have to either respect that or reject that. So my thing is, and they have a choice to do one or the other. The fact is, the more open you are, I love open people. I actually dated somebody who told me they were moving. You know what I'm saying? I'm definitely not going to be in a long-term relationship with you, but how deep this relationship goes, it's up to how we move. So they were open to sex, they were open to conversation, they were open to dates, even open to travel. But the same thing is, they were not open to long-term commitment. So it's like, and being honest, that helps frame the whole relationship. It helps frame stuff. So if we're not being honest with ourselves and with other people, then what we're doing, you're not really dating if you're not being honest. That's my thing.
Exactly.
You got to be honest and be
One
Exactly.
and move with clarity. Move with clarity.
one thing that I would say about that, and I think honesty and openness is a great thing. Speaking as a pastor of a church with members, though, and even when I had to go back out into that dating field, I asked. And I asked my daughter, I asked other people about the whole platonic. I just, at the time, I was just lonely, and I just wanted to um, uh, date for companionship. I just wanted to be able to sit down and talk with a lady and this and that. And one of the things that I took to heart, though, and I so and that was my daughter advised me not to do it, and she said, because even if you say it up front, and even if both parties agree up front, inevitably somebody's going to develop emotions.
Yeah.
You can say all you want up front, oh, we just buddies and we just going to be friends. But she said somebody is going to go beyond that 50-50 mark and develop an attachment. And I took that to heart for me, because especially I didn't want to do that, and as a pastor, and then I also, when I'm dealing with my congregation, uh, I believe that you should date with a purpose, because to me the purpose of dating is to find a partner to spend the rest of your life with. Now, if you're just looking for a friend, that's great, um, but you got to be careful that you can start out as a friend, and maybe it's subterfuge, as you said, Eric, that they gonna or Mina, that maybe they're gonna see if they can win you over. But sometimes both parties can just say, no, we just want to be friends. And then because of intimacy, and that's my fifth book, Marriage, Sex, in the Bedroom, intimacy causes you to develop emotional attachments and feelings to a
Yes.
person. And so
Yeah.
you can say all you want, we're just platonic friends. But when I share intimate knowledge with you and you share intimate knowledge with me, and we would get to a certain level of intimacy, eventually somebody's going to develop feelings, and then you're going to want to express that intimacy. Maybe I didn't go into this with a dog mentality that I want to hit it, But if I develop feelings from you, y'all ain't working with me.
No, but
Yes,
That's good.
you're right though.
yeah, that's real.
Somebody don't
you're
want to
telling the truth.
express. And so the Bible says, can a man take fire in his bosom and not get burned? So you got to be careful with that, because I can say, oh, we just friends, and wrong time, wrong night, and 9 months later, okay.
Miss Simma Clark. Miss
Because
Simma
a lot
Clark.
of y'all got some what's 9 months after Valentine's Day? A lot of y'all got some of them babies,
Right
don't
now.
y'all?
Miss
Yeah,
Clark
going
said,
into
yes,
29.
yes, I do not know how women have sex with someone and do not develop feelings. And the truth of the matter is, they now, unless that's, because there are women, this their profession, this is what they do not attach. Okay, the purpose, they know what they're going in for. That's a different woman. But when you are dating somebody, you in a relationship with somebody, I do not believe that you two could become sexually intimate and you not as a woman, because we are receptors, men are projectors. So there's a reception and we receive, and there is a connection that is made. There is a deposit that is left, and if a woman says she ain't caught no feelings, she lied. Now I believe that with everything that's in me. Even if he wasn't good, you just left a part of yourself with somebody. You gonna feel something, even if it's not but entitlement. Like the next day, oh, you ain't called me. Like, but you just hit it like I'm just, so you're going to feel something. There is. And so, Miss Clark, yes, I agree.
If it won't good, it don't count.
Okay, I'm gonna have to. I wonder if I could say that in the pulpit. If one is good, it don't count.
Don't try
I gotta
that.
make it rhyme.
Don't
I gotta make
try
it
that,
rhyme
no.
like I gotta make it rhyme like Johnny Carter.
We're not doing that one.
It must
We
quit.
do that one.
If it ain't good, then it never should. Okay,
Because
stop.
if that's the case, we got a lot of people out here that are still virgins.
Right, you're right. I mean, listen, and I'm looking over here in the comments, and I'm just telling y'all, YouTube and Facebook, they're on fire over here. Sister Charlotte Bowie, she said, hold on, let me get back to her statement. She said, I am never desperate to be in a relationship just for the sake of saying I have a man, because if that's the case, what will it cost me?
Nothing.
Right.
Men lead with their wallets, their provision, their protection. We lead with a lot of that. The question is, what is the man gaining? Because the thing is, it's set up for us to be the pursuers, the protectors, the providers, you know what I'm saying, the pathway makers. We're here for all that. We bring a lot to the table, a real man, that is. And we've talked about that before, the difference between a male, a man, and a gentleman. We bring a lot to the table off the top because it's expected, one, and it's like you really not a man unless you bring in those P's, protection. You got to bring protection, provision. You got to bring all of that. You got to bring that. So if you're not bringing that, you don't qualify. So yes, that's what we're giving. We're giving all of that. That's
and
what
Dad preached one time the 4 P's of the man, and also Dr. Grace had the for the woman. But I remember that teaching a long time. Do you remember that teaching, Dad?
Yeah, it was
the
man
the
should
provider,
be the
prophet,
priest.
the priest.
He should be the priest. He goes to God on behalf of his family. The prophet, he comes back with a word from God for his family. He should be the provider, and he should be the protector. But the woman has her responsibilities and roles as well. And she is powerful. She has 4 P's. She is powerful. She's prayerful. She's patient. And I forget the last one. I'll think about it in a minute. But she has these 4 responsibilities as well. So all of this is important. I love
peace. And she brings her peace.
Peace. I love to interject a question in here, and I love to hear from the panelists on this. Hopefully, we didn't lose Lashonda. But
No, we didn't.
so when I dated my wife 30 some years ago, most drop dead gorgeous girl in the world, and fell in love with her, and we got married. And so now it's 30 plus years later, and I was confused. I didn't know what I was supposed to feel because I'm no longer in my 20s. I'm a grown blank man now. And so I'm wrestling with, should I feel the same type of emotions at this age as I felt back then? Or should I just be looking for somebody who's going to change my diapers in 10 years? Okay, that
I
was.
was just thinking, hand those pills.
I was trying to be funny, but I guess that wasn't too funny.
Well,
That's
it's the
hilarious.
truth
You
because
did that.
our
You
age.
did that.
So am I just looking for a partner? And I'll be honest with you, in all the dates I've had, I felt both. And one very attractive young lady, but I never really got to that feeling with the person. And another one, it was kind of the reverse. Just I felt it right away. So I realized that even at my age, I can still feel that type of passionate love. And so, but in either case, I always tell people date long enough to collect enough data so that you can make a lifelong decision. But I am curious from the panelists, what are your thoughts? Because biblically, people get married as teenagers. They didn't know what they wanted. Their parents made the decisions for them, and then they were taught how to love their husbands and their wives. And in most cultures, that still exists today. Only America wants to go through this dating ritual to see if you the one, and I want to make sure how I feel. Some of y'all want to test it out. Let me make sure that we compatible and all of that stuff. But biblically, none of that stuff mattered because you both were virgins. So how do you know if this sex gonna be good if you ain't never had sex? All you have is what they give you. So you don't know if it's good or not. And I'll say it this last time: if a person is that good, why are you so good? I mean, if I meet somebody, we have sex, and she just killing it, I'm like, why are you so good at this? Okay, never mind. But at any rate, to the panelists, what do y'all think about the emotional part? Because I find like, is that the most important thing in a marriage, especially when we have 50-60% divorce rates?
Okay, Pastor, let me say this. We know, even if it's the first time, if it's not good. We know. I remember my first time, it was not good. And I had nothing to compare it to, but I knew this is what everybody's talking about. This, I could do without this.
Right.
So we know. I
Well,
think
maybe it's because he didn't have enough practice. Me and my wife were very young. We got good at it, but we weren't good initially. But by the time we got some time
we
in,
were married for quite a while. It never changed. It was not
it
good.
never changed. Okay, well, that was not my experience, but keep going.
I'm just saying we know.
Mhm.
I think I okay, so going back to what you said about the arranged marriages,
Mm-hmm.
I think that the expectation of marriage has changed. And that's because the cultures have changed. The what we're exposed to has changed. You know, back in biblical days, what you saw was your mama and your daddy together, regardless. There was no divorce. There was no choice in the matter. Once that commitment was made, the commitment was made. Period. Whether you like that joker tomorrow or not, that was your husband, that was your wife, and y'all were going to go through life together till one of y'all died.
Right.
And the exposure that you had in your community were people of like minds. They thought the same way. That's what you saw. Unfortunately, that's not what we see now. Even in those cultures that have these arranged marriages, you still have these issues with domestic violence. You still have these issues with all these other things, these other cards that are thrown in there. So even in those countries, you have women and men, but people who think that marriage is not something that they desire. Hence, that's why you have these population, drops all over the country. Even in countries that were where marriage was like a staple, and you had, people had kids. You see these, then they're not doing it now. People are choosing not to get married. Why? Because now we've been exposed to so many other options. There are so many other options to marriage, and we see a lot of dysfunctional marriages and choose that we don't want this for our lives. And so I think what we as a society have to do, and I don't think we do enough of this, is showcase people who have good marriages. Showcase people who have good relationships. Every time you see a reality show, it's some dysfunctional nonsense. Yeah. Even if they say, "Oh, this is about Black excellence," somewhere around episode 6, it's going to start to be some dysfunctional nonsense.
She said episode
6.
Somewhere around there. So what we've got to do, if we know people who have these amazing relationships, and trust me, I know some married couples. Well, as far as I know, I say that, as far as I am privy to it, who have these amazing relationships where they know how to compromise, and they know how to communicate, and they know how to conform and make the relationship work. And that's a wonderful thing. And I think we need to see more of that. And if we as a society put that desire out there, then we get it. But we want to see the ratchet. We look for it. We look for this messed up relationship. We get on TikTok and read Reddits just to see how dysfunctional people can be. And that's what we fill our spirits with. That's what we fill our hearts with. That's what we fill our minds with. And because we carry that with us, then we perpetuate that same nonsense over and over and over again. So I think if we want to get to a place where we have these fulfilling relationships, first of all, we got to purge ourselves of all that garbage. And are we willing to do that? Are we willing to put the garbage away? Are we willing to trash that stuff? And actually, fill our minds with the potential of finding someone that, we can spend the rest of our lives with, that doesn't mind changing our diapers or handing us our pills.
And thank you for sharing that. One of the things in Pastor Smart, when she was at my church, she understands this. I always tell people that I had a great marriage until I didn't. We were married for 34 years. I would say for the first 30, I had a great marriage. And for those 30 years, my passion became, there are too many people who are in dysfunctional marriages that are failing. And I believe it's because they don't know how. The Bible says my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. And so when you say they need to be presented with couples, my thing was not to just be out front. Oh, look at Will and Grace, and they just got this perfect marriage. It was to be vulnerable. It was to be open. I shared our failures and our successes, but more importantly to me, it was about sharing how, not what, but how we do this, how we did this. And so each book was a stage in our marriage on how we get through the spiritual challenges, the physical, the conflict. Here are the tools that we use. How we get through our soul ties and having wounded souls, and how we brought that together. How we learned that there's more than one type of love that you got to have in a marriage, other than just emotional feelings. There's friendship love and agape love, and how to sustain and maintain intimacy that you got accidentally when you first met, but now you have to be very intentional about it 30 years in, 20 years in, 10 years in. And when you're not intentional, you lose it. So, but yeah, I believe that, and I hate that we're showing episode 6 in everybody's life rather than how we get past episode 6 and keep moving forward. And that's the one thing that I always hated about what happened with me and my wife is because I felt like we let so many people down. And I was willing, by the way, to be that, well, we just gonna stay together. Because that's the way I was taught, that's the way I was raised, and I was willing to do that. But my reason was not doing it just to put up with it. My reason was just because it's broken now, don't mean that you can't heal it.
Yeah.
You just
That
got
it can't
to go
be fixed.
through the process. You don't have to destroy it because it's hurt. You don't have to destroy it because it's broken. You can actually heal from it. And so that became my passion. Learn how to heal. Learn how to get back to that place of love. Unfortunately, we didn't, but that's still my belief to this day that anybody, if the two people are willing to make it work, they can get the right tools and information to make it work. But if somebody decides, nope, I'm out, which I hate that, then you have no choice. It ends up being your circumstance.
She
Absolutely.
said, I agree. We need more examples of what a good marriage should be or ways to work through the difficult times. Pop and Mom Nichols, before Daddy Nichols passed away, your parents had been married for how many years, Dad?
It was funny because they got married exactly 25 years before me and my wife. Me and my wife met, and we were brides, groomsmen, and uh, uh, at their
I was
wedding.
Doing the math.
So when they did their 25th year wedding anniversary, me and my wife got married that same year.
Wow.
25
Wow.
years later, we celebrated our 25th year wedding anniversary. They celebrated their 50th. My father remarried us, and then I, in turn, remarried them.
Wow.
So at 30 years, they would have been 55 years. Let me see.
34. I think 59.
Right,
Because 34 for you all, like that would have, yeah. So
right.
Dad passed away
He
prior
passed
to.
that same year that my wife left. The pandemic hit. I was going through hell.
Mm. And that's another thing too. And I know we're talking singles and we kind of mix this up because it's all about relationship period, right? It's not just married singles, man. It's relationships period. One of the things that I know and I have loved and always, I remember when I came to Victoria's Priest, I came broken, wounded, and torn, right? I was a hot mess when I got to VPF, and that was 21 years ago. And I remember one service, you and Dr. Grace, y'all were ministering together.
Mhm.
And the thing that hooked me to say I knew this was my church, right, was a statement you all made, and you said that divorce was not an option.
Mm-hmm.
You said somebody will sleep on the sofa. Bags can be packed and at the door. But nobody going, divorce was not an option. I bought into it hook, line, and sinker. I believed it. So when this happened, and this is just to go to show
it shook a lot of people.
Anybody.
I hated it. It shook a lot of people. And you're right. And that was a word that, I remember when she said, if he leave, I'll be telling him pack my bag too, because I'm leaving with you.
Yeah,
that's what I always believed in until it wasn't. And the one thing that I will say this to people, there's no guarantees with anything. Right. Life is life. You just have to play the hand that you're dealt. I mean, sometimes you get all spades and all top cards, and then sometimes everything is red and low. And you just got to play it. You just got to deal with it. And if it happens, it happens. Sometimes you're just in that place because you're in that place. It wasn't your choice, but it is your reality. And when it's your reality, play it, deal with it, handle it, hold your head up, go through it. It may be humiliating, which it was for me, embarrassing. It may be hurtful, all of these things, but you move forward and you still believe in the process. I tell people, just because folk backslide don't mean that Jesus ain't still saving.
Right. Exactly.
You know,
Exactly.
so
Good
just
point.
because my marriage failed don't mean that what I said wasn't true, because it was true.
Absolutely. Because it was, and it is, and it still rings
Right.
true
Still,
today, which is
absolutely.
why you are here. And I feel for me that the way, like I didn't see mom's process. I didn't see Dr. Grace's process and how she went through it.
Mhm.
But to see you handle what you went through the way you went through it encourages me as a single individual just to even know that, yeah, life is lifing, right? And life is happening, but it's not happening to us, it's happening for us, because now there is a different version of you because you're single again. So now we got new books that will be written, right? Because you're single again. Life after divorce, right? It is real. People can come back from life after divorce. There is life for people after divorce, even though some of us are so broken, we don't think so. As a matter of fact, I believe I prophetically spoke some things, because as I stood at the altar, I rewrote the words to Dionne Warwick, I know I'll never love this way again.
Mm.
And I sung the song to my ex-husband
Mm.
at our wedding. I know I'll never love this way again. And from that day to this day, not like that.
Mm.
I have never. So we gotta be careful. It might be cute, but you gotta be careful about the words you say, you know. And
Yeah,
so but I
powerful.
thank God for you, huh? And the example though that you have given us, because you walked through that with your head. I know it was hard. I know you went through some stuff. I know people talked about you. I know they had things to say. I know people left you that said they'd never leave. I know. But you're still here today, ministry growing, thriving, even the relationship, the team, the relationship boot camp team, the marriage ministry that
Mm.
you have is still thriving, is still growing, and still blessing people's marriages. So what the devil meant for evil,
Yeah.
yeah, it didn't work. It didn't work. It didn't work. She says, I done seen so many women date trash, literally trash. That was Victoria Mitchell. I'm just reading some of the comments. She says, life is happening for us. That's right, Marianne. Not to us. That's what the Bible says. All things work together for good to
Now,
them.
I'm laughing because she said literally trash. Now, literally actually means literally, right?
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah, we
It's
know
literally
some women.
trash.
Some women are like today. I don't know if you guys seen the video that has been going viral now, and I don't know all the details, so I'm not speaking on it. But I'm just saying there was a baby mama and baby daddy having a fight. The baby daddy put the woman in the headlock, and the other baby mama or the girlfriend came out with a gun and shot and killed the baby mama right in front of the baby. And I mean, it's just a lot. Like people like I don't even understand that. I'm trying to wrap my mind around it. You a man.
Mm.
Like why did that even have to take place? Now mama gone, a son is left motherless, and y'all
Mm.
finna go to jail. Like, cause it was people watching, people witnessing, it was caught on camera, like people videoed it. So, but
Wow.
that's another thing. It's scary for me, LaShonda, when it comes to dating and dating sites and going on dates, because my little sister is very adventurous. And she the one who started the whole get on the dating site thing, and she living her best life. She's an empty nester now. My nephew 21 years old, and she like, okay, now it's time for me to spare my weight. But I get nervous when she tell me she met somebody and they going out. I get nervous. So talk about that, LaShonda.
I'm open. No. Look, that's my word for everything. But no, I when it comes to the dating sites, I'm super serious about my intentions, but I go in without being super serious, if that makes sense. Like
Mm.
I'm gonna give it my all. I'm gonna be honest about everything that I want, but I'm not gonna have high expectations.
I will say this, LaShonda. I dated one young lady. Now she knew I was a pastor, so on our first date, she knew who I was. But a few months later, she told me that on our first date, she was packing though.
Yeah.
She
Yeah.
On
she
your
still,
first date, she was what?
she was still packing. She had her little gun in her purse just in case this
Right.
pastor's crazy. So I mean, you don't know. So
Listen, Jessica Hart say I met my husband on the dating site. Can you
I've
share
married
the site you
several.
met? Can you share the?
Stop sharing that.
Can you share?
I've met several people. I'm married. I'm sorry. I've married quite a few people who met. I 100% believe in dating sites. I don't think I'm going to do it again, but I believe that if you are actually desiring to get married, waiting on organic is a rough way to do it. I mean, you might meet one or two people a year. And if you already past 50,
Oh,
if
don't say it.
if you trying to do what Mina's doing, it might take you 25 years to get 50 dates.
Okay.
Wow. I
So-
think you just
You
threw
gotta
shade
vary
on
your
me.
options. You gotta vary your options. You can't just do the dating sites. You gotta do speed dating. You know, take some referrals, that kind of thing.
Yeah. Keep it. Yeah.
I'm made, but I think I'm ready to pack it in and just like me and Jesus. And, but Shonda, do your thing. Shonda, do your thing.
Well, I'm going to, because at this point, you know, all my kids are grown. Y'all see, I got healthy grandsons, and I'm ready. I really do, and I really am going to take LaShonda's advice. She said, "Don't go into it with all these expectations. Just have
Yeah, because
fun."
you're looking to get married tomorrow, and
I'm not looking to get married tomorrow, but I do want to be married because I'm a wife. That's
There
the
are
thing.
those out there who are willing to get married tomorrow. Trust me when I tell you.
Well, I know I'm not, but I do know that I'm not a side piece, a side kick. You know what I'm saying? I ain't a side piece or a side chick. I'm a wife. And so I do know that I'm believing God to send me a husband because I want to be married. I do. He said, order must be restored. In the relationships, I guess that's what you're saying. I'm not really sure, but it definitely is. We and let me just say this for the people in the back. While Pastor and myself, we are pastors, we are men and women of God here on the platform. Everybody who listens to us, who follows us, who are looking to hear what we got to say, are not all saved. They ain't all in church. So we have to have balance even on this platform. We have to have balance even in the programs, like the outing, the singles unplugged. I know that there will be unsaved people there. This is not about your salvation. We're talking about relationship, because truthfully, relationship with Christ is what, because we talk religion, but we got a lot of religious people that don't have no relationship. And I'm talking about with God. We got a lot of religious people. We got a lot of people going to church. We got a lot of people dressing holy and ain't no holiness in them, okay? We got a lot of people going to church and ain't no God in them. So we talking about relationship.
Because the church is the dating site.
Oh, no, not the first dating site ever.
Okay.
So you got people that treat the church like the dating site.
I swear.
I met a guy when I was doing the research for the book. I met a guy and he said every woman that he ever dated, he met in the church.
Wow.
Oh, wow. Wow. And so, and with that, you know, I want to make sure that as the church that we, you know, we understand we're not setting the expectations and should unequally yoked. What does it mean to be equally yoked? Right? What does that really mean to be equally yoked from a biblical standpoint, a natural standpoint? What does it mean to be equally yoked? Because you can have somebody that shows up and go to church with you, because he ultimately has a game plan. So if he know you want a man of God, you want somebody that go to church, guess what he gonna do? He going to church. And he gonna show up. And he gonna look like, and he gonna smile. Everything that you, that's why that spiritual insight, that wisdom, discernment, it is key. Because there are a lot of wolves in sheep clothes. From the pulpit to the pew. Okay? And they preaching God, but they ain't living nothing.
Pastor Sharon, there's a lot of wolves in wolves' clothes, and we still choose them.
And we still choose. Come on. You say that.
Yeah,
you
real.
better say, come on. You better say that. Say it again.
There are a lot of wolves in wolves' clothes, and we still choose them.
And
we see the furs and the ears, and we still choose them.
Wow.
Well, I must admit, I'm a lion, so I'm good. I don't fall in none of them categories.
You say I'm a lion. She said I wouldn't date a man in the church, but we not going to go there. That's Jessica Hard. She said he has to be led by God. He has to be serving and a personal relationship with God. That's the key. And you want to see it in my book, The Load I Carry, Cast Your Cares. I have a chapter called Dating Smart. Dating smart. It's not because my last name is Smart. The Lord gave me the acronym, and he said, I have to teach you how to date smart. Slow, meaningful actions resulting in togetherness. That's what SMART stands for. Slow, meaningful actions resulting in togetherness. Because some of us don't know how to date because we go into it fleshly. Mm-hmm. So we having sex right off. We exchanging saliva because we kissing it. Your tongue and you ain't even pecking on it. You down your throat. He know you ain't got no tonsils and all that. I'm just saying because people are very fleshly, right? I didn't know how to date. I was one of those people. But when I was writing the book and I dealt with matters of the heart, that was the chapter 18, matters of the heart. And then the Lord said, now that you dealt with the matters of the heart, I'm going to teach you how to date smart. So that's how the chapters fall in the book. I dealt with the matters of the heart, my brokenness from my marriage and everything that took place with that. And then we came to that chapter. And so I'm saying this to single women is that take it slow. He don't have to know, what you feel like if it fit. That's reserved. Okay. Slow, meaningful actions. What's meaningful actions? The way he treats you. Listen, you better listen to how he talked to his mama. Because it'll tell you a lot about what you're working with. And if his mom ain't there, how he treat his daughter or his sister, like there's information and vice versa with men as well, because it's not just the woman inspecting, but the men too. Because believe it or not, there are a lot of men who don't know how to be by themselves. There are a lot of men who want a woman, maybe for different reasons, but there are just as many single men looking for their mate as it is women looking for ours.
Well, they call their mamas on a date.
Let me go back and address a comment that Jessica made earlier about she wouldn't date a man in the church, but she had some laughing emojis next to us. I don't know if she was serious, but I still want to address it. The truth of the matter is you can't date the next guy based upon the failures of the last one. You can't say, well, the last guy I dated was dark skinned, so I ain't messing with no more dark skinned men. Or the last woman I dated was a blonde. So no, because it has nothing to do with anything about the next person that you meet. The truth of the matter is that I would be afraid to date somebody not in church. Even if I've had bad experiences with people in church, if you're not in church, then you have no spiritual governance at all.
At all.
I mean, the Bible says you're of your father, the devil, and you will do what he tell you to do. I would be afraid to date somebody who don't have a relationship with God. That means nobody can tell you anything. God can't tell you. Was that judge? The Bible said he didn't fear God nor man.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want. I would want somebody that's accountable to God, is accountable to a shepherd or a leader. And yes, that doesn't mean that there won't be bad people in the church, but we don't throw away the church because there are bad people in the church. We try to find the good ones. So
She said,
just
"Amen, Pastor. At least he's in the house."
yeah, I mean, just be careful with that because if you have a bad doctor, you don't go to a witch doctor. I ain't going to that hospital no more. They got bad doctors in there. I'm just gonna go out here to Jamaica and give me a witch doctor. No, you just try to find you a good one. And there's people say all men are dogs. No, just the three you dated. There's
Wow.
good men out there. I'm a good man, and I'm in church. And so don't ever say what you won't do because of past experiences, because you never know. You've still got to keep your check mark list up there. I need a spiritual woman. I need her to love God. I need her to understand my lifestyle. And so if the last one didn't work, I'm not going, well, let me go to the club and find me a stripper. No, no. I tried the church girl. I tried the church girl the last time and she broke my heart. So I'm going with y'all ain't working with me.
Well,
Anyway,
listen,
I'm trying to be one and
Charlotte
the
Bowie.
same. I'm trying to be one and the same. The scripture
Well, you
in
said,
the church.
well, come on.
And be
Oh, you
and
said.
be yeah. I'm trying to be one and the same.
Charlotte said, "Can you speak to how women go on a first date and the men don't order anything to eat and don't pay for the bill?"
Something was wrong with your picker.
what was that,
She
Mina?
I said
said,
something was wrong with your picker.
Oh,
Hey,
Yeah, you picked the
look,
wrong one.
you
you
picked
picked
the
the
wrong one.
wrong one. Something was wrong with your picker. Here's my thing. And I think that we have to get rid of this whole mindset that we put with dating. Somewhere in the last 20 years, somebody designed this daggone table that you got to bring stuff to. You got to bring stuff to the table, and you got to be a prize, and he got to be the gift, and we've got these. We have made ourselves these inanimate objects. When a dude tells me he is the prize, that is my signal to say I'm going to exit stage left. If he tells me I'm looking for you to be my trophy, or I know you the prize, I'm looking for the door, because one, we are people with feelings and emotions. We are not these innate, intangible items, and we keep relegating ourselves to these expectations and standards that who wrote this? Who came up with this? Where is this table that I'm supposed to bring all this stuff to and expect you to and I don't know. I think we've got to get to a mindset that we are individuals and we all have different needs and different desires and different wants. And sometimes we just pick badly. We just pick badly. I do not blame my ex-husband for being a bad husband. He is who he is. He was who he was. He's still that same dude now. If with the mind that I have now, I would have never ever chosen him. Doesn't mean he's a bad dude. He was just bad for me. See what I'm saying? And we've got to get over this idea of what someone has to be like, so that we pick them based on these abstract ideas that we have been fed. And I think if we can get to a point where we are real with ourselves, and that means also being real with yourself. If you know you are jacked up, then you need to get somewhere and fix your jacked upness. You know, I know
Yeah.
for a fact, like I said before, I know for a fact I am nobody's wife. I'm not. Why? I'm not willing to compromise. I'm not. If I want to spend some money on something, I'm not going to ask you, hey, honey, do you think it's okay if I spend this money? I know me. I'm just going to go do what I want to do. If I want to go somewhere, I want to go. And you can't be somebody's wife and have that kind of mentality. So I've become very conscious of who I am. I've made a choice that this is what's important to me and this is the way I want to live my life. We have got to start being real with ourselves and accepting who we are and stop painting these glorious pictures for someone, this hypothetical spouse that, and then we get with somebody and real recognize real and they find out you are not who you pick. They met your representative. They did not meet you.
Mm.
And then you wonder why this junk isn't working. Because you can only dance to that tune and play that act and be in that role for a certain amount of time before the real you is going to start coming out. So I think we gotta put away the table that we're supposed to be bringing stuff to, and just stand up and be exactly who we are at all times. And guess what? When you do that, the people that are attracted to you, who the person you are, they suddenly emerge. Let me tell you something. The moment I decided that I was going to be decidedly single and stand on my own 2 feet and not compromise, dudes come out the woodwork. Oh, that's just what I want, this independent woman. No, you don't, bro. No, you don't. You know, and I think that that's the thing. We've got to understand the only way we're going to attract the people that are right for us is to be us, to be yourself, and stop putting on these airs and I don't know, putting on the act. We are not performing Hamlet here. We need to just be ourselves and stop being theatrical and stop being, fake and phony. And if you
I
can do that,
agree. I think I agree. I think that you are absolutely correct. We have
But
some
not
people in the.
even that. Can I
Go
say
ahead.
something?
Hmm.
Even on the first date, and again, I'm discussing me. I don't always look for the guy to pay for the bill. Like, I'm not a gender specific type person where, okay, he asked me out, so he's gonna pay. I'm gonna leave the tip, or he's gonna, like, we're not doing this back and forth. I mean, of course, I'm always prepared to pay my portion or whatever, but it's never one of those things where, oh, the man is gonna always be the financial fit person. So I guess sometimes we have to change our mindset just to be able to show up to change the game, to say, guess what? Yes, I understand that you may want to, because I've had a guy tell me, like, don't disrespect me. Not in a aggressive way, but that's what he wanted to do. But I'm like, you come off as if this is what you always do. So let's change the narrative. I got it. It's okay.
And men
I
got to
got
be
you.
okay with a woman saying, "I got it. This I got it." This
well,
Right.
actually, they don't have to be okay with it. That's not the woman for them. Here's the thing: we don't have to
That
be
part.
okay with
Yeah.
that part.
anything.
Okay.
We
Okay.
do. We got to get to that understanding. You don't have to be okay with anything. You don't.
Right.
If this doesn't work for you, it doesn't work for you. Bye. Next, because you are preventing that dude from getting that chick that is the way he wants her to be already. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
bringing my money to the table if that's not what I do. Guess what?
Yeah.
If the expectation for me is that the man I'm with is handling that stuff, I'm not going to pretend and say, well, I'll get it this time. No, that's not me. If his expectation is he wants a woman that's going to submit and let him be the provider and let him do all of that, guess what? You talking about, let me throw, I got 5 on it. That's not going to work for him.
Right.
So we have to stop. We don't know.
Well, so Ashanti says dating sites and social media has created a lot of false narratives. Most people show what they think looks or sounds good. I'm still old fashioned and prefer to meet by chance or happenstance. Thank you for sharing that.
Oh
She
man.
said, "This is a great podcast discussion on single dating. Thank you, Pastor Smart, and your panel for an awesome platform. Thank you so much, Sister Charlotte, and for all your feedback. And even because that really helps. And just having that feedback and that talk back church as the church as the pastors would say, I like a talk back church. But I do want to, and I want to go around and give, because we're coming up on the 10:30 hour. I want to give each person an opportunity in my panels before I close out, give each one of you an opportunity to share and impart, because we are talking all things single. And I think we kind of went from one end of the spectrum to the other tonight. And I love that. I love the fact that we were able to talk about sex and nobody had to feel like, oh my God, they talk about, no, it's real. Christian folks, unsaved folks, having sex, yes, they're having sex. The question is it the expectation? Is it the standard? And again, back to what Elmina said, just depends on who at the table, if there's a table at all. How about that? But nevertheless, I want you to share some last and parting words. Eric, as a man, I want to say thank you, one, because I kind of put it out there when we're doing these, like asking for people to come on that's single to share their experience, whether it's a dating site or you had some experience with dating as a single individual. And we hardly ever get men that are willing to come on and talk about their relationships or their position on it or whatever. So I want to say thank you. Not only thank you for showing up, but thank you for showing up and imparting, man, because there's so much wisdom in you. There's so much for you to be a young man. Because yes, he younger than me. He my little cousin. He younger than me, but he has so much, and he's so much like my Uncle Johnny. He's such the gentleman, and he's just, I just love it. And so I want to thank you, and I want to open it up to any, like next week. I really want to have a panel on women, what women really want, right? Because I don't think we really know what we really want, right? But I would really like to have, just what are we really looking for? Because if I could be just totally transparent, I left home when I was 14 years old. I'm 56. Look in my eyes, like my Aunt Elsie used to say, look in my eyes. I'm tired. Okay, I'm tired. So I had to be honest. I mean, I really want somebody to take care of me. I ain't even lying. I ain't even talk about financially. Like, I don't want to have to think. I don't want to have to do. I've been doing since I've been 14 years old. I'm 56. I just want somebody to say, baby, I got us. And then I can say, I got you. You understand? Because I'm a hustler by nature. I'm going to work. I'm going to do, you know what I'm saying? I'm the grinder. I'm the getter. But I just want somebody to be able to say, you ain't got to do. Just chill. Let me lead. I'm tired of leading. I want somebody I can trust to lead me. I want somebody I can trust to say, here come my check. What we doing? I want somebody that I can trust that he got a plan for where we're headed. I've been doing it all my life.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
I just want somebody to lead me because I'm tired. If I can just be truthful, that's what I want. I want a sugar daddy, but he ain't got to be old. And I don't want a sugar daddy because of money. I want him because he's sweet to me.
That's it.
And I can be sweet back to him.
That's it.
Okay, that's me. I digress.
That's good stuff. That's good stuff. I mean, the fact is that's what any real man wants. But that's the thing, real. A real man wants a woman who can hold her own. He wants a woman who is open in her femininity. And a real man really enjoys the opportunity of creating a space where she can be even more feminine and just take a backseat and relax a little bit so she can be able to be concentrating on him. You said something very key there. Concentrate on him so that you can hold him up as he holding up everything else. Absolutely. So it's like now together you guys are holding it together, which is important. So I'm gonna speak as a barber and hairstylist real quick because and I think Sharon knows where I'm going at. And I'll go biblical from the top because a man that finds a wife finds a good thing and obtains favor from God. So it's like you have to find a wife that's already a wife. You know, Sharon has already said she knows she's a wife. You have to find a wife who's already a wife. You can't find somebody who has the potential to be a wife because they have to already be what they are. For instance, like a brush has bristles. A brush has a wood board that has holes in it, and it's also adhesive. Where you take that adhesive, you put it in those holes, and you take the bristles and you put it inside those holes, and you let it dry and set, and now you have a functioning brush. But so many times we're falling in love with the potential of people, you know, the things that they have, instead of falling in love with them being already whole and usable. Because if you're not usable, you're useless. If you can't be used, then you're not, then you're useless. So you want to present yourself in a way that you're already able to be in a position to be used. As a man, you want to already come with all of those 4 P's. You know, you want to be able to, or 5 P's. You want to have that and already have that. And as a woman, you want to see that. You want to be able to actually see that, have the vision to see this is a man who can take me to the next level. This is a man that I can help to go to that next level, because you're supposed to help meet objectives, you know. And the thing is, the fact is, we have to look at ourselves as projects, but complete projects. We all are complete. The thing is, we can get better and better and better. So that's the thing. And our focus should be on getting better and better so that we can be able to present something to somebody. Because the key word there is present, which is present, which is a gift. So yeah, the man and the woman are the gift, because we all bring certain things to that situation. So that's where I'm at with it.
Um, my final thoughts. And I've enjoyed everything that I've heard here, different perspectives. I'm obviously going to speak from the perspective of Christianity and the Bible. And what I would say is that dating should be with a purpose, and it should be uh, with a purpose to find a mate, even though I don't disagree if you're not interested in getting married, to have friends, as Mina said. So I'm not terribly against that thought. But if you're going to date from a Christian biblical perspective, I believe that it should be with the intent of finding if this is the person I want to spend the rest of my life with. With that being said, then there are certain things that you should do. Number one, it should be done long enough for you to collect enough data to make a decision. You don't want to make a hasty decision. You don't want to make an emotional decision. I also believe that you shouldn't uh, even, and I know that the Bible says we ought to flee fornication. I just believe that you shouldn't, simply because it will cloud your judgment. Now you're emotional and you're making your decisions. And so I believe that you don't have, somebody said, well, what if they leave you if you don't give it up? Well, I think it's good that you find out that that's the type of person you're dating. If you would leave me because we're not having sex, I had one of my spiritual daughters say that she was upset because all the church folks told her if she remained celibate, God would send her a man. And now she's 40, and now her biological clock. And I said, well, I'm so sorry the church folks lied to you, because that's not in the Bible. There's no scripture that says if you remain celibate, God will send you a man. God is not Cupid. He's not in that business. He said, as Eric said, he that finds a wife finds a good thing. So that means that somebody got to be shopping and somebody got to be on display. But I digress with that. The most important thing that you can do is spend enough time with the person. I usually like to go somewhere between 1 to 3 years to find out, do I love your good, and is your good better than your bad? Don't try to fix them. Don't try to change them. Don't try to remake them. Don't try to find out who they are. And if the good outweighs the bad, and you feel like you could spend the rest of your life with that person, then I think you should. Date with intentions, date without sex, get as much information as you can, and then make a decision.
That's good, Dad.
All right.
I think that's all good information. LaShonda?
And I'm just on the opposite spectrum of everyone else. I'm new to dating per se. I came from raising my son who just turned 25. So I'm just now entering into being super serious about dating. I'm not really looking to be like super serious with no one, but I'm just having fun with it. So I'm just getting my feet wet or whatever, but I'm being open, I'm being honest because I know I don't want any more kids. And within my dating, I've been finding that men want kids. And that's a strong no for me. Because as I say, I'm just now getting back outside. So I'm just going to enjoy it. I'm going to have fun, but like Pastor said, I'm definitely going in with intention, being honest, and just letting the men know up front, this is just what I'm looking for. But some advice I would just give, like everyone else was saying, just be open, be honest, be okay with being rejected. It's not a be all end all type situation because you're not for everybody, and everybody is not for you. And one of the biggest things with profiles, when it comes to profiles, is to say, please put realistic pictures on your profile. Be the person that you say you are. Because if you've gained a couple of pounds, like that may be a turn off for the next person. So just be 100% transparent about who you are. That's it.
Yeah, don't put those glamour shots up from the 80s.
Right, because
Right.
I saw some men like on the dating site, well, doing it today, and it was like this man who, he reached out to me. He's 67, because my profile says I want 55 to 75. Now, when people say 75, wow, but there was a 71-year-old man, and he would run, he could run with Eric. Like, he's fit. I'm telling you, like, I didn't believe it was 71. Like, I went to go search. I'm like, this man ain't no 70. We lie. Like, he passed the wheel. Yeah, but look, Dad is like, what, you 60? What, Dad?
Let me tell people my age.
Oh.
I might still be in the game.
Right, okay.
Well, he looks good for whatever age he is. He got muscles. He worked out. Come on, he fit. So you really can't. So but for my purpose or my reasoning, LaShonda, for wanting that age bracket, because in my head, I just feel like they're settled. Like, I don't need nobody 35. Like, I've had 30-year-old, my daughter 35, my oldest, okay? I don't need nobody that the same age. I'm not looking to raise nobody's son, okay? And because I know what I want, I know that ain't him. And so I just put 55 to 75, and this man, he was like 67, and he looked every bit of 71, but he was 67. And just to say to the picture, right? Because he put a picture up there, and then I went strolled further down to see real pictures. I say, he didn't take no pictures, because that is not him. That's who he used to be. Right. So you're right. You ain't gonna catfish me. You ain't gonna catfish me. But yeah. So Miss Almina, your word. 50 dates. 50 days. Say the Chronicles.
Actually,
the Chronicles of Dating Over 50.
Somebody 50? Asked about your book, Mina. I don't know if you posted it or not.
I haven't, but okay. Yeah, you can reach me on Facebook. The book is on Amazon, so you can find it there, or you can buy it personally from me. Either way, my final notes.
Buy it from her; she gets the money.
Yeah. My final notes are my final thoughts are these. First of all, be you. The Mina you see today is the Mina you'll see tomorrow. The one you saw yesterday. And then and just be honest with yourself as to what you want. If what you want is this marriage, the dream of being married and have, riding off into the sunset and till death do us part and everything, that's fine. But be honest that that's what you want with yourself and with the people you're meeting. If what you're looking for is just, hey, I want to see you today, I want to see him tomorrow, be honest with yourself. Be honest with the people. Because that's the only way you're going to be happy. Settling for something you want you don't want, and pretending to be someone you are not is never going to satisfy you.
Right.
It's never going to. So all you're doing is wrecking your life and wrecking the lives of the people that you are bringing in with those false narratives. So just be yourself and be honest with yourself. The second thing is it's okay to be single. Single is not a bad word. I did not cuss you out when I said you were single. It's okay. You know, do not let this narrative that everybody has somebody out there they're supposed to be with blind you to the fact that you can be a whole person by yourself. You can. You can be a whole, happy, healed, all of that person right by yourself. But you have to understand and be sure that that's what you want. You know, don't let anybody pressure you into thinking you got to have a ring to be complete, because you don't.
By yourself.
You know, hey, look, I'm not burning, so I don't need it. I'm good. I'm straight. You
Well,
know,
listen.
so I'm peaceful, I'm happy, and I'm decidedly single. So that's the next book that's coming out, guys. Decidedly single.
Decidedly single. I love it. You all were amazing. I've enjoyed this evening. Thank you, Pastor Smart, and your panel. Thank you all for tuning in. Thank you, Pastor Will, for sharing your network and your platforms and being a part. Dad will be a part of this process throughout, because, of course, in November of 2026, he and his marriage team will also be a part of the relationship boot camp retreat. This is going to be in the Outer Banks of North Carolina. It is in a mansion. The reason why we're having these events, Singles Unplugged, the overnight experience, because we're going to be in a house together. Single men, single women, married couples. We're going to be under one roof together for 4 days. 4 nights. We're going to be under one roof. We're going to have so much intense. It's going to be intense workshops and impartations. And so I'm really excited about it, because us coming together like this, which is why next week I really want to have a panel. So if you're listening and you're a single woman and you would like to come on and be a part of the panel next week, I want to talk about what women want. Do you really know what you want? Or like Almina say, have we bought into the narrative that the world is painting for us? Do you really know what you want? Right? And then we want to hear from the brother. What is it that you want from a woman? Because my cousin Eric said something so powerful. He said it's 3 things. And I want to close with him saying it because I love it. Every time I hear him say it, he being real. I can't help he being honest.
Hey.
What's the 3
Super
things?
simple, man.
What's the 3 things you
Men
say
are
you
not
want?
complicated. Men are simple creatures. We are not complicated. The most complicated thing in the world is a woman. So the thing is, we understand that. So we keep it simple. We want 3 things from a woman. We want peace, we want a piece, and we want a sandwich. That's it. Now that's going to come in different kind of ways. You know, when you're giving us peace, that when you're connecting with us, you're making us feel like we need to feel. You're giving us all of those feminine qualities, that femininity that we thrive. You know, and you're giving us that. A piece, of course, we know what that means. You know, because there's a sexual nature in these things too. So at the same time, and then now a sandwich that could be, my favorite meal. You give me that every once in a while. It ain't got to be every day, but at the same time, it's a way to say I love you. I love salmon and asparagus. I can see that at least once a week, right? I mean, my thing is, if you care, show me that. You have another way of showing me that you care. So yeah, we simple. You do that, and we'll be there forever.
Right. My daughters are young. They're in this new millennial age. But one time I asked them about like dating, whatever, and literally unanimously almost said, "Mama, we don't date. We just hook up." Nobody
and
dates.
don't ask no woman in the 70s what they want from the secret to keeping a man. Because a woman in the 70s will tell you something different. They'll tell you something as simple. And I heard a woman in the 70s say this. She said, if you wanna keep a man that you have already married. Now this is we already married. You want to make sure that you send him to work empty, full, and unlock his appetites. So that's the thing, and that's the cleanest way I can say that. You know,
Dad said it too.
there's no other way to say that.
My grandmother
He's
said you
gotta
need a
have
moo and a
something
sweet
to be
potato pie.
empty,
A moo-moo
something to
and
be
a-
empty, something should be full,
Empty,
and something should be
full.
unlocked at all times.
Oh wow.
My grandmother said you
And
need a moo and a
yeah.
sweet potato pie. That's it.
Well,
A moo-moo and a sweet potato
I
pie.
have
A
loved y'all.
moo and a sweet potato pie.
Jessica
That'll do
Hart
it.
says Eric is a smart man. Said men want three. Serena Brooks said men want three things: peace, a piece, and a sandwich.
That's
She
it.
put
That's
in the
it.
comments what you said. So listen, I am excited. Thank you all again for coming on tonight. Thank you, Dad. Thank you, Eric. Thank you, LaShondra. Thank you, Elmina. But we finally got you on. We got to do it again. I love it. I can't wait until we do couples unplugged, when we're gonna have married couples on, husbands and wives. You know, because y'all will be surprised how husbands and wives, they married, but they don't even realize that you sleeping with a stranger, you sleeping with an enemy you don't know. And I've talked to some, and they got some stuff, and it is what it is. But at the end of the day, God got a plan for it all. And if we submit, this is the thing. And Dad has preached on this about the three chord. If you submit your marriage to God, submit it to him. I ain't saying just, oh God, no, I'm talking about submit it to him. Because people said this, why does marriages in the church fail more than marriages in the world? Right? If we tell people that God can do anything but fail, but our marriages are failing, what's missing? I believe it's the true submission of that marriage to God. Because even when it's going left, if you take that back to the Father, that you believe, and you telling everybody that God can do anything but fail, if we submit those marriages to God, that God, I did not. I can honestly say I did not. I said, no, I don't got to put up with this. And I filed. I paid. I ain't got to put up with this. I didn't submit it to God. I didn't give God the time and the opportunity to work it out. I called it quits. Because I said, I'm not going to I don't have to put up with it. And this is what I did. But when I look back happenstance, my children were raised without their father in the house. Did I do them a disservice? Because all my girls are single women. Ain't nobody got married yet. I'm just waiting to be the mother of the bride. Somebody get married. But I love y'all. We gonna dig deep. We gonna talk some more. But thank you again to all of you. Thank you all for staying and hanging out with us. Tell somebody to tell somebody. Singles Unplugged, and we live talking. All right, I love y'all. She said, when I was married to my husband and we was going through a divorce, God came to me and told me to give him everything. And I will make sure you never live without. And God has done that. Well, come on here, Miss Jones Laurie. To God be the glory. She said, great panel. Thank you all. So we thank God for y'all. I love you to life, and there's nothing you could do about it. Come on here, singers. We'll talk to y'all later. Love y'all so much. Thank y'all for joining us for Singles Unplugged Live Talk. I am Pastor Sharon that Smart, your host. And we'll see you again on next Tuesday. Ladies, get at me if you want to talk what women really want.